Hello, everyone. This is Mark Anthony with Edge on Regenerative Medicine Show. This is the place where we get you the best of the best doctors in their niche and in their area. Today, we have a special guest. And yes, this is a special guest. When you have a chance, everyone, make sure you take a look at her website. You don't know why I say she's a special guest. You can go to
Santa Fe Soul, that's SOUL.com, or RobynBenson.com. I also have a new website that really pertains to our conversation, DestinationRegenerate.com.
I like that one. By the way, this is the first time I didn't have it plastered on my screen, and that's okay, because here, you know what? We just have fun and we tell the truth at the same time. So she is in Santa Fe, New Mexico. This is Dr. Robyn Benson. What I love about her website is she has a video on there where she tells her story of how she got into this beautiful business of helping people. So today we're going to be, let's talk about regenerative medicine, why it's so important in today's age that people speak more about regenerative medicine. And again, so much, Dr. Robyn, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Mark, and all of you who are listening to this.
No, definitely. If you could do me a favor and please tell your story. I know you and I talked a little bit about it, but if the audience can maybe learn a little bit about you on how you got started and why you do this and why you're passionate about it.
So 52 years ago, I'm 57. I was one of 5 kids, and my youngest brother was born with a hole in his heart, had brain damage, and he lived for a short 6 months. And I remember so much holding him in my arms and just wishing that there was something, a doctor. I mean, we went to some of the best places in New York City, and that was not the case. He had a very, very short life, but what an impact his soul had on my young 5-year-old self, that when I was in 5th grade, there was a career day, and I was really fortunate. I spent a whole day with a doctor, and he took me to 2 nursing homes, and I got to see a lot of very young people in the nursing home. And I asked him, I said, why are so many young people here? And he said, people have just made some bad choices. They have not eaten well. They have not exercised. Sometimes they just have bad genetics. But those 2 events, especially losing my brother, but also equally though, in a way, seeing what can happen and doesn't have to happen. And, it's so much so that early in my career, I started something online called the Self-Care Revolution. I think after 20 years of seeing so much unnecessary suffering, although a lot of things happen for us, right? I think we really learned that whether we get a cancer diagnosis,
exactly,
or we have a, autoimmune condition, it really helps us awaken. And I really think that's truly what regenerative medicine is. That word regenerate means a second chance, a new beginning, no matter what. Even if you're, get a 4-stage diagnosis, it's amazing all the people that go into remission. So what do they do? What do they choose to do? And people partner with me, right? I get to help facilitate people's transformation out of a trance. Very often a sickness and illness of any sort, we're in some type of trance and indoctrination.
Right, exactly.
A really bad, horrible trauma happened, and we can't get out of the trance, the pain of that. And that's what regenerative medicine is. And yet a lot of people who know what regenerative medicine is in terms of stem cells and exosomes, which I get to do a lot of that too, IV therapies, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, prolozone, that's all regenerative medicine. So it's one of the fastest areas of medicine. And it's really mostly, which is what I'm certainly, all I practice here is using the power of one's own biology, especially with platelet-rich plasma.
Smart.
Or whatever we're doing, whether we're working with ozone or I'm actually injecting ozone into joints, and believe me, I inject it all over the body, or I'm giving IV therapies. We're using nature as much as possible. We're not using anything that's disruptive or causing dis-ease. Regenerative medicine is well, I guess that's really my absolute passion, is to help as many people turn degeneration into regeneration naturally.
What would you say some of maybe the top person that comes to your mind that you saw something amazing in your practice that you saw that regeneration process take place?
Mm. I have a young 40-year-old woman who has a huge fibroid cyst, like 7 centimeters.
Wow.
And through doing ozone, injecting ozone into it, acupuncture, getting on her into some really good herbal medicine, we've been able to reverse that. I
Wow.
don't want to say, and we're going to find out this Sunday because I have somebody who does some full
Wow.
body ultrasounds, almost a full body ultrasound. So we're going to find out, but it's been an amazing journey. So I never just work on the physical because it rarely is just a physical condition, right? So working on the mental, emotional, and you know, her body produced shit endometriosis for a long time. So it's kind of unraveling, you know, being a health detective is like one of my favorite things, is trying to figure it out, but also partnering in medicine with other healthcare advocates, other practitioners. Like, how could 2 or 3 of us come together to help a person get the result that they're looking for? And there's some
Oh,
really cool, amazing regenerative medicine medical doctors out there. And fortunately, we're seeing more and more of that integrative approach rather than you just, like a lot of us, you go to your doctor, they give you 8 minutes and they just give you prescriptions.
mhm.
And fortunately, things are changing and there's just so many more options available in the regenerative medicine field.
Why do you think that there's such a disconnect with the regenerative world and then just going to a regular doctor that's just going to give you pills? And then
Well,
after the pills wear off, they give you a higher dose and a higher dose.
right. And then you have another problem, right? Then you're not sleeping. When you're on prescriptions or you get pain pills, you're just like, there's always the next thing that people are
A
needing.
side effect.
But a lot of people are waking up and they're just saying, I
I
don't
agree.
want that for my body. And there's just some people that are just, this is the medicine that they went to med school, because med school is not very integrative. Most people don't even have, they go to med school, maybe have 3 hours of nutrition.
Oh, I
You
see.
can not, you know, integrative medicine, you got to look at the whole. Anybody who has abdominal issues, has migraines, there's a root cause. And just by, you know, throwing on a couple of different prescriptions is not solving the problem. And I'm a big fan. Thank God for emergency medicine.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Thank
yeah.
God for that. But in general, people that are coming in with 7 to 10 different prescriptions, it's a journey. It's a journey of detox. It's a journey of helping the body reawaken. For people to even like that are on SSRIs that have been on for 10 years, I don't even know how to feel on my own. So it's a journey. Regenerative medicine, this fresh start that people are looking for, especially in this pandemic time, that people, what we are advocating more than ever is helping people realize, you know, you got to be your own best healthcare advocate of this amazing human vessel that you got for free.
Free.
Right? And why not give it the best life? Why not allow ourselves to feel good in our own skin? And you know, very often wheat, dairy, sugar, I believe like 80, 90% just choosing to eat really well. You know, food is our medicine, exercise is medicine,
Mhm.
prayer, meditation, having a mindful way about your earth walk really matters in terms of regenerating new healthy cells, a new healthy you, a new healthy organ system from the inside out.
No, I love that. You know, a lot of our viewers, I'm sure they're wondering, you know, what are some of the, let's talk about your practice. Like, what are some of the things that you offer? You know, I know that one of the things that I was drawn to, which I love, is I love IV therapy.
Yeah.
Maybe if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about everything that you have to offer.
Well, so the top 5 regenerative therapies that we practice here: PRP, platelet-rich plasma,
Mhm.
but I also do prolozone. So I'm injecting ozone into joints. So prolozone and ozone in medicine, incredible for people with autoimmune diseases, any type of cancer. But also, I just want to mention though that very often there's detective work still to be done before we do some of these regenerative therapies. So I want to look at hormones. I want to definitely look at someone's food history, like what they're eating. Look at food sensitivities. Really, really important. We're really big on fast mimicking diets. That's another top regenerative therapy. Doing a as actually a fast mimic diet
Mhm.
that we really love doing with our patients here who come in and do more of our high-end regenerative therapies. But you really, like, it's what you're doing in terms of what you're thinking, what thoughts you're thinking, what words are you speaking, what actions are you taking, how are you engaging in life and community is really important. So all of that we like to take
Mhm.
into
I like
consideration
that.
as we choose what are some of the best therapies. So if someone has, like some of our men that come in for sexual rejuvenation, we want to look at their hormones. We want to look at their nitric oxide levels. We want to look at what's really going on that might be contributing to the erectile dysfunction
Mhm.
and help get that function back. So it's all of life, looking at all those main areas, looking at the mental, emotional aspect of one's being really matters in terms of the efficacy too, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So we want to optimize some of these deficiencies. So be it someone's testosterone or zinc or magnesium, vitamin C, glutathione, all of those things really are important. And gut biome, we hear about that now more than ever, but anybody who's full of parasites, and we do a lot of that type of testing as well. We want to clean up the gut because that's your good mood hormones are produced there. Your immunity comes from your gut.
Mhm.
So,
What
so
are some of the ways that you would clean out someone's gut? I'm just kind of curious, like, or that, let's say that
the
that's
way,
something, let's pretend that somebody has an issue with their gut. We'll just flow with that. And where would somebody start with starting to get healed of that with regenerative medicine?
okay, so a 40-year-old woman came in with psoriasis, very, very acute case of psoriasis that she's had since she was 25 years old. And she ended up with a strep throat at that time and antibiotics, whatever. So the way I look at someone like that, acupuncture, but I want to determine what food sensitivity she has. I want to see if she has some type of parasite or worms. We see a lot of people with worms. So we really
Mhm.
want to get to what is at the root of this issue. But also, there was a very stressful time, one of the most stressful times in her life when she was living in New York. And just a long overview of getting to understand one's lifestyle
Right.
and where did this come from. But fortunately, some of the testing, but we also want to start doing the treatment process too. So something like acupuncture is really good. You want to help the vagal tone, the parasympathetic,
Blood
sympathetic,
flow.
that really helps. And
Mhm.
then we've got some excellent herbal formulas that help with the gut healing, looking at different probiotics. And sometimes you need to get rid of what's really there first, and then you add the good in. So it's one of the most important parts of regenerative medicine is obviously looking at the gut. And
Mhm.
I think it's called the Benson Regenerative Protocol. That's on
Mhm.
my website. You can find that too, but it's for free. There's like 7 different
Oh, wow.
steps to living a regenerative lifestyle. And so we do want to work with people. And some people just like, I want to come in, I want to get my PRP facelift, right? That's called I called it the
Vampire mask?
what's it's called the vampire
Mhm.
facelift. We also do hair restoration, breast restoration. Men, we do the P shot. Women, the O shot. We do joints. We do all over wherever somebody really needs this
The P
golden
shot.
elixir.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing for.
That right there, I have to have you on a show again for that. Just
Oh,
for
you
that.
could
It's
just
fun.
talk
I just heard
about.
about that and I'm like, I don't even like, I heard it's something that from what I heard from another doctor of mine, a good friend of mine, Dr. Bolin, and he was telling me that he's going to be bringing that on to into his practice. And he
Yeah,
was saying that this is unbelievable.
I've been doing it for like 8 years, 8 or 9 years.
Really, talk to, can we talk, what is that?
Sure. And,
What
and
is
if you'd
that?
like me to talk just about sexual rejuvenation for men and women and what I do and how it's
Yeah.
personalized and
Yeah.
customized for every single person. So what we do is we get your blood and we put it in an FDA approved centrifuge, and we get 10 cc's of this golden elixir that is rich in growth factors. And we actually inject that for men into the penis, women intravaginally, into the face, into the scalp, into joints. And it's amazing because what it does is when you inject it, it kind of awakens dormant stem cells, all those growth
Oh,
factors go
wow.
in. And like with the face, it helps to it increases your production of elastin and collagen. So it helps the skin, the face look 5 or 10 years younger, help to bring in that, get that glow back.
Mhm.
And it's not like a facelift, right? But a lot of people don't want to go under the knife. So it's a nice alternative to that.
Mhm.
But we also, like when we do a natural facelift, we want to look at skincare, definitely look at diet, stress. Oh my God. You have to say the most degenerative thing going on in the world is
Stress.
that I think there's nothing worse that sets us up for dis-ease and degeneration more than stress. And how you're running that little inner roommate in your head. I mean, some of
Roommate. I
us
like
are
that, roommate.
24/7 and we can barely like think outside of that. And it's a journey because it's part of being human. But when we can down regulate that part of that amygdala and we get to turn on our light, turn on our third eye, so to speak, to all those natural ways that we can produce DMT, where we get out of this illusion that we're separate. And we're like, wow, like, just I work with all my patients, is a lot of times I can almost see, I can see them.
It's like a glow.
Like,
Right.
yes, I can see the transformation, like transforming into a new body.
Yeah, that's why they keep coming back.
Yeah. And really a new friend, but somebody I met online several times, Alberto Villota. I've interviewed him several times and he's now living here in Santa Fe. And I feel like I've known him forever, but he wrote a book called Grow a New Body. And that's in his story is amazing. So he actually at one point, like maybe 6 or 8 years ago, needed to get a liver transplant and had parasites in his brain. And he just regenerated his body. And, he's going to come in here and get some IVs. And the collaboration with this man is amazing. And people go to Chile. He's got centers in Chile where people come and do his Grow a New Body program.
No way.
But also his energy medicine retreat that he's going to be doing in Santa Fe. And then I do these retreats for women called The Art of Liberation. I mean, ultimately healing is getting out of prison in our physicality, in our body and mind, and allowing like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do life with a whole new lens, with these new rose-colored glasses. Like it's possible, but to feel that, not just think it, but to feel that vitality in your cellular being really is possible.
Wow. That's amazing. So when you see the word, it kind of stuck in my head a little bit. Worms, are they real worms?
Oh my
Like
God, they're
worms that we think like
we can poop out worms, but we put a lot of our patients on a program to get, we test them first, but to deworm, to get rid of extra yeast, viruses, bacteria, parasites. And people will send us pictures, show us pictures on their phone. Look what I pooped out last night. I mean,
wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. It's really sexy conversation, but it's real. I mean, you can go to a salad bar, you can touch a door handle and get Giardia. It's in our water.
Wow.
It's hard to avoid. But when we're vulnerable, when we're under a lot of stress, something that would normally not cause, even like if people eat the same food and one person gets food poisoning, the other doesn't, or some, there's a big party of 50 people, 10 people get COVID, the rest don't. What is the difference? It really, a lot of it has to do with one's lifestyle.
I see.
Having those adequate levels of zinc, because vitamin D, vitamin C, these are so important. Like so much of healing, I say, is for free or minimal cost. If we just take care of ourselves with just these just like these few things, make a huge difference, and they don't have to cost a lot of money. But with a lot of regenerative medicine, people are spending, this guy said he spent $10,000 on stem cells and it lasted for 6 weeks and he's back to ground zero, whatever.
Wow.
And
Okay.
there's just, sometimes it's a process, with ozone, with some of these PRP treatments. It's like we have gravity, we have aging, we have stress, we have natural processes that are going on in our body, but are we turning on a lot of them? Are we accelerating them or not?
I like that. And it's true. I kind of look at our body. I'm a car guy. So I look at, okay, this is a car, a vehicle. When it slows down, you need to get new spark plugs. Okay, now you got the new spark plugs. Let's pretend that the spark plugs are testosterone for me. We'll just use an example. Okay, low T. Okay, I'm up to par. Then all of a sudden I get a flat tire. Okay, I got to work on that now. there's certain things that we have to keep up on our body. But from what I basically hear what you're saying, it's not always just a, one done, come on in. You might be lucky, but we have to stay up on our body and stop putting a price on our body. I see a lot of people doing, they put a price, let's say, I'm just going to use an example. Okay, we're going to have a TRT shot. It's going to cost this amount of dollars. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go to my insurance company. Okay, well, but we found a solution for you and you don't want to spend, we'll just say $200 more, but it's your body, you're worth it. And I think that self-worth is huge. You become what you think. And if your morale is down, your body will become down with it. And then what happens is sicknesses start to occur that were not there. Would you agree with something like that?
I would say, and I just want to add, especially in this pandemic time, you are what you believe.
There we go.
What you think and what you believe in the narrative out there. Is it true? I mean, right?
Exactly.
Good or bad? I mean, this is your body. This is your vessel. It's your choice. So I can't even tell you how important that is. But when you were talking about cars, I happen to, one of my early passions in my career is Tesla. Like, he's my favorite genius of all time. I have a Tesla car that I got when I turned 50 in 2015. I love my Tesla. And so I learned so much working with Tesla technology about, and 3D healing, right? One of the best things we can do is go to the beach, go outside, be barefoot, wake up every morning, just get outside, breathe in the fresh air. Those negative ions really help with what degeneration is a lot of oxidation, rusting in our body. We want, what's the antidote? Just being outdoors, one of the best things you can do. We are a bad mood nation in a lot of ways, and we can turn into a good mood just by that. But just want to say something else about Tesla and healing, true healing in the body. We spend so much time in medicine focusing on the chemistry and the biology, when in fact it's our biofield. It's like, what's your environment? How much are you in front of your computer, on your phone every day, indoors? That degrades the landscape of our body internally and externally. So we have to think about our cells are like batteries. And when we're tired, when we're stressed, we have low voltage. So healing is voltage. Absolutely. So when you shift the voltage, your biofield, and you stay in the highest frequencies, vibrations, possibly, that will turn on the light, like 100%. Literally. Or you hydrate, you eat good food from Mother Nature, you exercise. That all impacts that bioelectric field. When you have a healthy electric field, that is number one to turn on your biology and chemistry, not the opposite way.
No, so, I agree with you 100%.
So at Santa Fe Soul, we have Tesla lights here every single table. When people are getting their IVs or they're getting their acupuncture, we have these Tesla mats. They're cisbionic PMF, pulse electromagnetic field technology. So every single patient gets that, and that helps with what's called electroporation. It helps the red blood cells separate, so you get the goodness of life into the cells, and it helps you detox.
For the blood flow?
Yes.
Is that the Beamer?
Well, there's Beamer. We use a different one. They're called the IMRS. IMRS 2000 is the one that we've been using since 2008.
Nice.
But the way to really look at that too is like we're as healthy as our 70 trillion cells. So when we have inflammation, we hear about the reasons you're sick, because you have lots of inflammation in your body, lots of stress, your blood sugars dysregulated, which is true. So very often our red blood cells are clumped together and they look like dried up raisins. And when you're in healthy fields of nature, or lying on this mat, or getting a really good treatment, and like you talked about how you got into regenerative medicine through your chiropractor, that's an incredible way to help that whole biofield to get back into sync, to help with that vagal tone in the body. So your cells go from raisins to grapes. When they're like grapes, then you can imagine what gets into the cells. You get oxygen into your cells. Like that patient I was talking about that has really bad psoriasis, she has anemia, so that makes it very challenging for a body to heal when you have low anemias, low oxygen getting into your red blood cells, and that causes all kinds of problems.
Wow, no, it's so true. I tell you what, I'm going to probably go look up some information on the Tesla stuff. because I'm a big Tesla fan. I try to watch every autobiography out there. I mean, just on him. The man was a genius.
Oh
I
my God, I
mean,
had trouble reading his writing. I'm like, come on, universe, can you
I
just
know.
like it's like reading a foreign language.
I mean, I was so frustrated, kind of off sidebar. I was so frustrated when I heard that when he passed away, there were so many boxes of his stuff missing,
Oh, I
you
know.
know, and it's
Oh,
like, it's so, he had the cure for so
he
much,
did. He did. And I've
and he
spoken,
wasn't treated that way. That's
right.
the bummer part.
Yeah.
The guy
I've
should have been
spoken,
living in a mansion, not, you know.
I've spoken at the Extraordinary Tesla Technology Conference a couple times,
Oh, wow.
and so many of those of the inventors that are speakers that have come up with amazing health technologies, or how do we fuel our automobiles on Coca-Cola rather than gasoline. I mean, they're missing their teeth. I mean, a lot of so many amazing inventors have lost their lives because of
I know.
getting these things out into the world. And anyway, I'm just feel so fortunate that I'm able to practice medicine that has in my center for the last, well, I've been in practice for 30 years, but the last
Wow,
15
that's awesome.
years at my center here, where we get to, a safe place where people can come in to, they a lot of people come in, they're very smart. They've done a lot of research to find out what's some of the best therapies. And fortunately, we have those here. So it's been rather than it's a tough time these last 3 years,
Mhm.
in the bigger global picture, but we've stayed really positive and helping people through those tough moments of being afraid to leave their homes, to like, oh my God, I look like 5 years older in
Right,
6 months of being in this quarantine, to like, whoa, like what can we do to help you regenerate? What
right.
there's always a possibility for people, even with, when I see people with 4-stage pancreatic cancer and liver cancer, there's still regeneration, going into the light, but I think that we all, like, who are we? We're all part of
I agree.
amazing particles of the universe.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so the best downloads that I've ever got from Tesla, definitely from probably some of my plant medicine experiences that I had early on, that really gave me so much guidance, because I actually built this center from the ground up. Like,
Wow.
really, this is when I was 39. But I got a lot of, I like, I can't say that this was necessarily my idea, but it came through this vessel of me paying attention to listening. When you give that
When
rewrite in
you,
your head a little,
yep,
you park it, right?
when you slow it down.
You allow the universal flow to come through you. There's so many unseen, incredible pantheon of angels and
Mhm.
people like my father, and people have gone that have moved on. I mean,
Before
just to
us.
really open our heart. Oh, there's so much. Talk about regeneration. This is why I call it free healing. I mean, and some of the exosomes and some of this stuff, it does add up, but it's amazing to see people shift from the
Yep.
inside out.
No, I love it. I love everything what you're saying. It's interesting is also music regenerates. People don't
Oh,
realize it's
totally.
interesting. Like, oh, let's say if I'm having a really bad day or whatever, there's this one uh I love worship. I love good worship.
Mhm.
I'm a musician. So, I go to Bethel worship. They have really good, and they mess with the sound waves in the
Mhm.
music. So they put the different tuning in the music. So
Mhm.
you can hear it and you can feel it in your soul, like literally ignites you. You're like, it literally changed the molecules in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm good. So, I keep that sucker running around, and
That
sometimes
is
if I,
so great that, yeah, sound and music is so unbelievably healing and regenerative too. I mean,
yes,
seriously, like you can change your cellular being, like the raising effect of inflammation to the grape effect, just
100%.
by great music and hydration and positive thoughts,
Mhm.
and being in community. So important. Having a pet, hugging,
Oh, oh yeah.
giving people a hug, expressing, feeling gratitude, it changes you.
It's so interesting. So like I have a little miniature schnauzer, blue eyes. She's white. She's beautiful. She's my baby. Her name's Honey. And it's so amazing. Like if she knows I'm a little stressed, she literally just jumps right on my chest and just lays there and stares at me. And I'm like, wow, it's just amazing. It's a natural with these animals, or they're just, I think, just totally a blessing. People don't realize it,
And that's one of the most important hormones is oxytocin. That's like the hugging hormone.
Yes,
Yes,
touch.
that we get from animals and we get from hugs and we get from worship, right?
Yes, 100%. It changes the atmosphere. And not only that, a lot of people don't realize, and you can probably attest to this, but what we're thinking, what we're processing, what we're watching, what we're listening to, it especially what words are coming out of our mouth. We don't realize that there's an internal thing to start working on. How am I talking? What type of words am I using? Am I using trigger words? Or am I using, I call them blessing, or am I using, trigger words? And we don't realize, I love the book of Proverbs, you become what you think. And it's so true though. If I say to myself, I was telling somebody the other day that if I were to tell somebody, hey, you got $5 million in your bank account, let's say they're struggling with depression. Okay. Hey, you got $5 million in your bank account. They look in their bank account. They're like, oh shoot, I got $5 million. I go, do you think you'd be walking different? They're like, oh yeah, girl, I'd be eating different. I'd be talking different. I'd be walking different. I won't even need a chiropractor. I'll be up, And I say, now what you need to do is your mind doesn't know the difference between truth or not. Really doesn't. Meaning it's a feeling, it's an emotion. So if you start thinking that you have that 5 million in your account, what's going to happen is you're going to start walking in that. And then you're going to stop thinking, oh, well, I don't have. It's walking in that. Would you, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely agree. You know what? I'm just so mesmerized. One of the things as you're talking, I'm seeing the hexagon behind you in your backdrop there, the hexagon.
Right.
There's a phenomenal book called The Shamanic Way of the Bee.
Really?
And you think about the hives, right? And they're
oh yes. Oh yeah.
So as we think about the material world,
wow,
and we think about nature, I just want to one of my last moments here, I just want to say highly recommend that book to all of you, The Shamanic Way of the Bee, because the bee, like where millions of years ago was the bee, and eating honey, right? Like I'm so fascinated by bees, the honeybee, like
so
the
interesting.
bee. Yes, but also like attuning to nature. And whales and dolphins, what do? They're attuned to nature. What can we do to regenerate ourselves from the inside out? So spend some time with the bees, but the hexagon is a sort of sacred geometry. Like nature,
so true. I never really thought about that.
Blues. Nature
wow.
is amazing. So
I'll get the book.
And also, I just want to end with, and I will definitely come back on. I'd love to share a lot of the things I get to experience and get to all these different modalities, the ones that are really help people, the PRP, the prolozones. I can tell you how many surgeries have been canceled because of injecting prolozone and proliferative agents. A lot less expensive than the PRP. And I usually start there at scaffolding to elbows, shoulders, knees, getting people to walk, getting people to do what they love to do. So I think, can I just end with one statement that
Please, I love it. I'm just enjoying this. Go ahead.
I know I could talk to you forever. This is so fun. And I really feel like the audience too, that like for all of you, just to open your heart, like we hear that the longest journey for all of us is from our head to our heart. But allow yourself to live in your heart. Like what are your passions? What brings you joy? Like this is the time to go out, to say yes to yourself foremost, put that oxygen on, take care of this amazing vessel and enjoy this life. Because in the end, that proverb, what matters most is how well did you live? How well did you learn? How well did you allow yourself to let go? I'm sorry. How well did you live, love, and learn to let go? Those are the three. So I'm glad I got to.
I love that. Let go, though, is when you said that, it just triggered me, that let go. So many of us are holding on. We got a backpack that should be empty. and we're holding on to stuff from the past, stuff that's
Yeah.
going on right now. And if we don't unload that and put our cares and say, you know what, that's not mine. Oh, I have cancer. No. What did you do? Did you go to the grocery store and pick it up? No, you don't. Oh, but the doctor said, yeah, but I don't care what the doctor said.
Yeah.
Start speaking life now. Start speaking life to your body now. Now is the time. Now is the time not to be negative. You struggle with negativity, get new friends.
Yes, I did. Couldn't agree with you more.
You
What
know?
a joy to be with you today.
Yeah, I know you and I could keep talking. I'm already, I know we're a little over, but I just want to say thank you so much. You put a smile on my face, and it's so
So much
funny how
fun.
you brought up the hexagon, because my dog's named Honey, you know, and that's
Oh,
her name,
okay.
Honey. I call her Honey, Honey Bunny Bunny Boo. Anyways.
Got more to share with you about the hexagon. too.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anyways,
All right.
thank you so much, Dr. Robyn. You are a blessing. Everyone, make sure you take a look at SantaFeSoul.com, SantaFeSoul.com. The number's on the screen. Make sure you give her a phone call. And again, I pray blessings upon your business, and that people will be so attracted to you that you're going to have to open up another shop. I'm playing with you. It's not a shop, but you get it.
I'll end it with a woohoo.
God bless you. Thank you.
Woohoo.